Hi, my name is Janice. I am 21 years old and this is my video submission for the Scrawl. I've actually been asked a lot in my life if there was anything that I would ever go back and change. And a lot of the time I would say no, because things that have happened in the past make you who you are today, the good and the bad. But now that I'm 21, I've had a lot of time to think about things that have happened in my life and things that, you know, I realized I did wish that I could go back and change. And one of the biggest things is I wish that I had done better in school. I was always a pretty smart kid. I remember in elementary school, I was in a gifted and talented program where, we would all meet in a separate little classroom and do advanced math problems and reading problems and stuff. And I just remember I was proud of myself. And I stayed in that program in middle school also. But I remember one day, I think I was in the 6th grade, we had an assignment where we just had to go home, find any word, um, find its meaning, and then just bring it to class the next day. And I don't remember what my word was, but I thought, hey, I'm smart enough. I know the meaning of this word. I don't even need to look it up. So I basically came up with um, the meaning, the meaning of the word off the top of my head and submitted it. And I remember just my teacher was so disappointed in me, and she was just like, that's not even close. And I remember I was just so embarrassed and ashamed of myself for thinking that I was, too smart to do the homework correctly, that I actually left the class and never went back to it. And after I left that class, I just gave up on everything. My grades started dropping dramatically. I remember before middle school, I was a straight A student, and I got my very first C in the 6th grade, and I just was so heartbroken that it just kicked me down even more. And from there, my grades just kept going down and down and down, and I just stopped caring, and I went through this phase where I just hated the world and everybody, and I just kind of withdrew into this dark place and became a totally different person. And I stayed like that through 6th and 7th grade. I came out a little bit in 8th grade, did better in school, but it wasn't the same. And I knew it wasn't going to be the same. I lost a lot of good friends that I think could have made my life so much different if I had stayed true to who I was, but instead I gave up. And the same thing happened to me in high school. The first year of high school, it was really rough for me, and I was in a couple, they, they were, I don't know, our schooling was really weird. It was the right below honors level, and I remember just giving up again. I knew that I was smart enough to be in that class because I got into that class. But when I looked at the kids around me, I just gave up, and I thought, I'm nothing like these kids. There's no way that I could ever compete with them. There's no way I'm as smart as them. I don't deserve to be here. And because of that, I fell short. And after that, I just gave up, and I started taking easier and easier classes and just started giving up. And after my freshman year, my grades were good, except for in math, because I've always been bad at math. But my grades were good, but it always stuck in the back of my head that I'm not challenging myself enough. And because of that, when I think about myself intellectually now, I feel that I am severely lacking. I honestly kind of think of myself as dumb because Like, I may have gotten straight A's, you know, A's and a couple B's in high school, but they were in very easy classes. So because I didn't apply myself and because I gave up, I missed out on a lot of things. I mean, I could have taken honors classes. I could have gotten college credits, you know, I could have done better in college because of the education that I allowed myself to get in high school, but because I was so easily defeated and gave up on everything, I, to this day, still kick myself over it because I think to myself, if I had applied myself, if I had not given up, where would I be? Would I have a full scholarship? Would I have different friends? Would I have stayed with music? I gave up on playing the clarinet because I just felt so defeated and I was just way too hard on myself. So one of the biggest things I would do is I would literally redo all 4 years of high school. I made some of the biggest mistakes of my life in high school. I took so many people for granted, people who loved me and cared about me so much, and I pushed them away for a million reasons, and I shut myself in this dark little world and I wouldn't let anybody in, and because of that I lost some people that I was very close to. I took a lot of friends for granted. I let my education suffer. You know, I gave up on things that I used to be incredibly passionate about, and I still to this day regret it. Things that I used to love doing, I just stopped doing them, and I don't know why. And one of the worst qualities that I have, that I'm able to recognize now, is that I give up way too easily. I don't take criticism well. I'm really hard on myself as it is, and I'm a very fragile person on the inside, and having someone criticize me on something that I've already, you know, critiqued myself on and given myself, you know, such a harsh grade in the first place, it always kind of stings, of course, but for some reason I tend to take things a lot harsher than I should. So there are a lot of things in my life that I would change, a lot of little things, but the biggest one is just I wish that I could go back and just tell myself to not give up, because I am smart. I've always been smart, but for some reason I let myself tell myself that I wasn't good enough and that I wasn't smart enough and I wasn't anything. And because of that, I ruined who I was. I ruined my mind. I ruined my friendships. I ruined my life. And it still haunts me to this day, thinking of, you know, what would my life be like now? Don't get me wrong, I love where I am, I love my boyfriend, I love my current friends to death, but just thinking about all the what ifs, it really gets to me sometimes. It keeps me awake at night, thinking, would I still be in school? Would I have dropped out? Would I have a career right now? Would I be on my own? Where would I be? Just a lot of things. So I think if I could change one thing, I would just go back and redo all of high school, or even further, I would go back to the 6th grade and actually do my homework assignment in that class. Just that one little thing. I would go back, pick a word, define it by the dictionary, turn it in, and everything would be okay. And then nobody would be let down, nobody would be disappointed, and everything would be different. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, my name is Janice, and this has been my video submission to the Scrawl, September 2011. For more information on the Scrawl, or if you'd like to submit your own entry, go to www.scrawlexperiment.com.